Last time on Dice Funk.
So do you have like a respect module that you have to call people Sir Buck and Miss Killings? Is that like a politeness protocol? Can you call me Big Papa?
Big Papa Hialeah, absolutely.
I love it when you call me Big Papa.
Oh, well, I guess I don't need to do the voice anymore.
You can if you want, it's fun.
Oh,
I don't want to make. Feels right.
I don't want to make anyone mad, though.
Lilian, you're regularly putting on shows in the theater here, yes?
Yes, I am. My one fey plays.
And Dumas, you have, let's say, experience acting, if in an unconventional way, to the normal definition?
I guess, if that's what you call pretending to be people for a while.
That is what acting is, yes. Shall I connect the dots, or...?
This is, of course, a palm Iranian.
Yes, animal handling check. 18.
This dog loves you. It's like, and it's running around your legs. Delightful. I need to be moved to the front of the queue immediately.
Why exactly does it need to be a rush order?
Because I have a schedule to keep, and that fool of a previous vibe checker threw it all out of whack, and I need to get it done immediately. I have deadlines to keep. Well, hold on, let me get that body for you. Don't want to forget it. And you see the myconoid kind of shuffle over to a corner of the room and just grab kind of a gross mass of canvas and flesh and kind of be like, so which one of you lucky guys wants to hold this little number?
Can you tell me about who this is? And he kind of like, I guess, like waves his hand holding it a bit. I guess the meat sort of sloshing.
Hey, careful. That's my buddy right there. That is the remains of the dearly departed Poffo. My good bud. Loved him. So much fun. He was one of the few people to really appreciate death the same way that I do.
I really like the Wizard of Oz series, though I've only read the first 3 out of like 14 books.
Wait, it's a book series?
Yeah, it's a book series. I think a good chunk of the first ones were written by L. Frank Baum, and then there was like a couple ghostwriters afterward.
And his name is L. Frank Bong?
Baum, B-A-U-M.
I really heard L. Frank Bong. I was like, damn, what a cool dude.
I have never actually watched Wizard of Oz.
You are insane. What are you talking about? What does that even mean?
You gotta watch The Wizard of Oz.
I know the gist. There's like a lady, she's got the monkeys or whatever. There's another lady, she's got like a little dog. She meets like a couple of weirdos, and at the end it was all a dream or whatever.
Quinn, write down next character, NPC, a green dragon named L. Frank Bong.
L. Frank Bong breathes weed fire.
Exactly. Yeah, you caught what I was putting down.
I'm not going to be writing him down as a NPC. I'm writing him down as my character for next season.
You're going to be like quad wielding characters between the Cookie Monster and your actual idea and L. Frank Bong.
That's 3 so far. If you have 4, you can like have them be like you switch them out like once per every half an episode and make it just like a fucking like insane like party swap thing.
At some point, this is a record too for Dice Funk, having like 6 characters at the start of the season.
Your 4th character is just like, I don't know, the lead singer of Imagine Dragons.
What the fuck? We gotta start this episode. We gotta start.
You could give me 1,000 years and a million clues. I could never tell you the name of the lead singer for Imagine Dragons. I couldn't even describe him to you.
The guy...
He's like like a concept.
We can't
to
have
me. He's not a real person.
Imagine Dragons in the dragon season because they don't have real dragons. They're just asking you to imagine it.
I want to say like Chad Swoozle. Is that a person's name?
Chad Swoozle. No, but that is going to be a character in a future season.
That's like that that old like NES baseball game Japan made, and they had to come up with a bunch of American names. There's Todd Gonzalez.
Oh yes, I love that screen.
I was literally going to use that as my NPC some season because I do a naming convention, so it'll be like famous conspiracy theorists or actors or something. I was going to do the fake American names from Japanese baseball video game.
Bobson Dugnut. That's a pretty good one. I'm surprised that one hasn't got more traction from that list.
What was the one you just said? Bob Swimson? What was it?
Bobson Dugnut.
No, not that one. God damn it. The lead singer of Imagine Dragons in Quinn's mind. I guess it's on the recording. It's fine.
Chad Swazzle,
Yeah.
I believe.
Chad Swazzle. Writing that down. L. Bong. Okay, I'm good to go.
Austin's got everything down. All right. So last time we had a session, you guys were about to enter into a brand new vibe check.
Yeah, we were gonna enter a vibe check of a very concerning vibe check because I don't know what's gonna happen with an undead person's vibes. How rancid are they going to be?
Yeah, you're reviving an undead character. You don't really know what will happen. This is a little unprecedented in the history of vibe checking. And there's maybe a lot potentially riding on this, I think, for Stranger as well.
Yeah, he has a lot of questions here on what exactly would potentially come back if you put this meat into the big underwater pits or what have you. Is it gonna be Poffo the Bodak? Is it gonna be Poffo the original guy? Is it gonna be something else entirely? Maybe both. It could be both. We don't know.
That is very true. So you place the item into the banyan tree. I believe it's essentially a burlap sack and a thing of meat, all kind of mixed together. It lands with a satisfying squish as the banyan tree slowly starts to strangle you with its vines and usher you into your vibe check. And when you come out the other end, you find yourselves in a cold, dark, metallic room with a tile floor and tiny steel doors with handles littering the walls of this room, and then one large steel door to exit.
Are we in like a mortuary?
That is exactly where you're at. You seem to be inside some kind of mortuary.
Okay, I'm glad that Dan recognized what this visual was, because I was about to ask if we were, like, in the Saw room from the first movie.
Would you like to play a game?
We don't know yet. We might be. We very well might be.
Poffo is an unknown right now, so... Or I guess he's a known unknown, sorry. I was a fool right there for a second.
Hialeah loves games, so if we are in the Saw room, it's actually kind of a plus.
There's also, I should note, a table and or a desk rather, and a chair in this room, and then otherwise it is deadly quiet.
Do you all ever think about how often Quinn quotes Donald Rumsfeld? I would like to roll investigation.
I thought I was quoting George W. Bush.
Yes, it was Rumsfeld who worked for him at the time.
Wow, what a world!
I my first instinct was also like a general like investigation check if maybe like it's okay to both do that. I don't know.
Give me a perception check.
Okay. Perception.
Oh, they really changed up Roll20. What is happening?
Yeah. Roll20 is very strange and weird now. I'm not a huge fan.
Okay, perception is 13 for me.
Oh, I did that. Oh, I crit. Austin crit.
Oh my god!
Jesus.
What the fuck? Off the fucking rip. Okay.
What do you see with your eyes,
right,
Hialeah? Oh.
I'm gonna come back to that crit in just a quick moment. I will say first that yes, you are in a mortuary of some kind. The doors that you are seeing on the sides of this room look to be little lockers. They all are closed right now. But upon like kind of looking them through, none of them seem like locked or anything like that. The room itself is relatively abandoned except for this desk on which it seems to be relatively well lived. There's a lot of like personal stuff on here. There's like a picture of a furbolg woman, like an sort of older one, and her arm is draped around a younger little furbolg who's wearing like a very colorful Hawaiian shirt. And next to it, there is a picture frame that just says "Home Sweet Home."
Can we search the Can we search the corpse niches specifically? Like, see if there's anything of note in there.
You open like the lockers?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You can open. Are you just like opening one, or are you like just like running through and opening like all of them at once, or?
There's none that are like a little bit askew or maybe look different at all?
No, all of them are firmly closed. It seems like it's kept in a relatively good shape and order. Someone is attentive to details.
Yeah, I guess I can really only go one by one. I don't see anything that would indicate what a specific one to open, unless I like turn around and there's like, if I stand in a specific position, it says like, oh, number 36, like a saw trap or something.
Yeah. Yeah, you stand on your head and you find that there's a little arrow pointed at the bottom left one. No, yeah, you can open one and there's a body of a dead lizard folk on there who looks like they have been sort of vivisected up the body. Is vivisect the word?
Vivisect means to take apart while alive.
Yeah.
Okay, not vivisect then. Whatever you've cut open the body to start.
Is it dissected when they're dead?
Correct. Autopsy, I believe, is the word Quinn is looking for. Though.
Autopsy, yeah. I thought there was a term for the way that you cut someone open, though.
Sure.
Is there anything on like the toe tag that, or is there a toe tag, I guess, to indicate who this person is or how they died?
There is a toe tag. You can see on it that there's like a number on it for this person to be like filed away into a system. And that's like legible to you, it's a series of numbers. There looks like there's a spot that should be a name, but it's like not in an understandable language. It's like vague and cloudy, almost as if it's like trying to not be there. It's almost like you zoom too far in a video game and they're like, oh, actually, we didn't finish this asset. Please don't look at it.
Mm-hmm. I think Stranger like kind of looks at that with interest, and he like gestures over to the team and says and like points it out and goes, I wonder if this is because the banyan tree doesn't have this detail, or if it was like this in life. It feels like maybe the former.
Oh, this sounds like a religion check, maybe? Plus
15.
That's a botch.
You gotta start saying it beforehand. You gotta start saying it beforehand.
I keep forgetting I have the fucking... I have botched like 3 times, and I could have been like, it's too late now. Fuck.
I was like, what a perfect spot, 16, 15. You don't even really need to roll. Just say it. Just knock one of those.
You guys gotta remind me like before the session, because I'm square-brained and I can't remember.
So 16 to 15 are good, and I would say, Hialeah, yeah, you do have some intuition that there likely are some pieces of material that the tree doesn't really have any idea about, and it just maybe doesn't know what to put there. Perhaps this detail was left out because it considers it inconsequential to what it's trying to show you, or it may have something to do with how this particular person sees people, but right now your instinct would say the former.
Your god is very interesting.
Oh, you're saying that to Hialeah?
Yeah. How is religion treating you, by the way?
Pretty good. I kind of I got into a lively discussion with the extremely muscular fish lady, and we both agreed that my tree could beat up their snake. So I'm glad we got that figured out.
That doesn't feel like something maybe an opposing religion would say, but I have no reason to believe you're lying to me.
I mean, you definitely can't check, so it's fine.
So are you like the Pope then of your religion? I don't know if there's other worshippers.
That's a great question. I've been thinking about that, actually.
Oh my god. Oh, it's like tree pope.
Tree Pope. Yeah.
Are you gonna
What?
are you gonna put like a little Pope hat on each one of your branches, or
Is it gonna be like a multi-pope hat, like with your sword there, where it's like different hats glued together?
I am the Omni Pope. No, I mean, I want to talk about this with Speaker Mox after he finished the mission, because the tree first revealed its secrets to him, so maybe he has some insight. But, just because you're the first prophet doesn't mean you get to be the Grand High Poobah necessarily, so...
is that your title?
I established earlier that my title is Big Papa.
Ah, right, and the tree is biggest Papa. Got it.
Yeah, no one's named the tree yet, so unless someone has a better idea, try to stop me. I have a big sword.
Which I do think we desperately need to go back to the topic of our group name. I don't think Vibe Check is going well in the market of ideas.
Why?
Just I have been trying to brainstorm names for this little group of ours, because like a vibe checking is more of like the thing that we do, and it's like you can go with that, like you can have a profession named after the thing you do, but it's not very eye-catching, ear-catching, dramatic, really elevates the importance of what we're doing. But I am so unable to think of anything. I think I'm having like a creative block.
How about the Brainy Bunch?
I feel like we've already done that before. Yes, that was literally the name of an episode last season. I knew it.
Fuck. The Banyan Bunch.
Oh, why are you stuck on bunch so much?
Fine, Banyan Buddies. Fuck you.
He wants that alliteration so bad.
This is out of character, but I just keep like trying to think of like names, and I'm like, what about Psychonauts? Fuck.
What about Persona 5? Wait, hold on.
What about Slime Time?
What about the Phantom Thieves? What about the...
What about Tough Bastards? Just keep running through all the old Dice Book names. The Avant-Garde, has anyone done that? So, Lilian, you botched.
I sure did.
You and everyone else are kind of looking at this corpse, and you have come to a sort of conclusion. But you are enraptured at staring at this corpse. There is like something intensely interesting at staring at this dead body. And I need you to make me a charisma saving throw.
Awesome.
Oh, thank God. Thank God they're a bard.
19.
There you go. I was looking for 16, so you managed to pass. So there is this moment where you find yourself utterly enchanted at staring at this dead body, and you are finding it almost like impossible to turn away, but you get a momentary like sort of instance where you feel in control of yourself again, and you feel as though if you keep staring at this, or if this thing stays out, you will go right back into sort of that trance-like state you were in before, where you can't think about anything else but looking at this body.
All right, like with that like little moment of clarity, I think Lillian's gonna be like, I think this, looking at this thing, is maybe putting my head in a weird space. Maybe we could close that for now. Just reaching to like close the little mortuary cabinet drawer thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you just gonna like slowly pull it in, or are you like slapping it closed?
Just kind of like
How does Fair do it? How does Fair do it?
I think Fair just kind of like with a bit of concern look, like just kind of like not slam it closed, but definitely like just kind of like close it like bat. Like get that closed. Get that out of here.
We've all looked at this enough. Let's go now.
Just I'm done with this.
Are you quite all right, Lilian?
It felt like if I kept looking at that thing, that might be the only thing that I would be doing for who knows how long. It was very transfixing.
Well, we are in the vibes of a Bodak. They are quite focused on death.
Hialeah has an ability called Eyes of the Grave as a grave cleric. I didn't know if I was actually going to use this. I had no idea an undead was coming up, but I can activate my special eyes to detect undead. So I would like to do that. Who in this mortuary has got some sauce?
Sure. Can you explain this ability to me? Does it work like everything you see in the room you get to identify, or?
You can open your awareness to magically detect undead. You know the location of any undead within 60 feet of you that isn't behind total cover and isn't protected from divination magic. This sense doesn't tell you anything about a creature's capabilities or identity.
Okay. Interesting. So I'll say this: you sort of open your undead vision. I don't know if you have a name for this.
Spookdar.
You're like, going ghost. What's up?
Spookdar.
Spookdar.
I don't know about that.
What does Austin call it?
I mean,
Ghost gaze.
it's just the Big Papa vision.
Big Papa vision activates. There is absolutely an undead in the room with you. They're a stranger.
Oh, yeah.
You son of a bitch.
Fucking duh.
It's not like a flaring light because I believe the parts that are stranger are not necessarily undead, but he is growing out of a corpse. So that part does seem to trigger a bit of your radar. But I believe it said total cover. Mm-hmm. So you don't see anything else in this room that is triggering your ghost sense.
You're looking at me a bit strange. Is everything all right? Your eyes are glowing.
Yeah, you like it? I can see your secrets.
I don't really... Okay, you were riding me pretty hard for saying weird things.
And
maybe take a lesson from yourself here.
I feel like the more that Hialeah activates her banyan abilities, the more banyan fruit will grow on her branches. If you've ever seen them, they're like small red fruit. She has a baobab tree, which have like big green fruit. Both of these are edible, by the way, in case you're curious. I just like the idea. I don't think this is gonna amount to anything, but just over the season, she's gonna get more and more banyan fruit on her branches until she has them all and none of her old fruit.
Oh, wow. Very, very cool. I like that character touch. I want to start addressing your crit, Austin, from earlier, which is there's a moment. You have this deep connection to the banyan tree now. It is, fledgling at this point, but it is something that has, made itself evident to you before. You've had interactions near the tree where you have felt a level of presence, and you feel a level of that right now. Something that's like different than just like statically feeling close to the tree while you go through this or anything like that. Almost as if the tree is trying to send you some level of a message that is difficult to parse, but the tree is trying to let you know something is up.
All right. So if I have my eyes activated and I can't see things fine, full cover, I think she wants to like start opening. Have we checked all of the freezers at this point? I know we popped some of them open, but she wants to check.
We only checked the one specifically.
Yeah, there was just one that was open specifically, but you can open them all if you'd like.
Yeah, I just want to pop, just peek into each one. You don't have to fully get the corpse out, just see if anyone's glowing.
Sure. Yeah, you could do that, and you will find that everybody inside of these lockers does seem to just be dead, not undead. There's nothing there that is setting off your sense. But from that crit, I will tell you there is something that's like weird about your sense right now.
Yeah, Lilian was about to ask, like, are you looking for something specific? I know we just like looked at the one guy, and you're looking at all of them. Are you looking for like something like one of them might be wearing or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think Hialeah will just tell you straight up she's proud of the tree and its abilities. She'll just say that the banyan grants me the power to see things which are transgressing the line between life and death. And I was just seeing if there are any zombies about to jump us, and no one appears to be a restless zomboid, but something is going on that I can't figure out yet. I am unworthy of powers currently. It's not the tree's fault.
That and like the weird feeling I got, like I'm starting to feel pretty uncomfortable in this room specifically. Is there anything else we need to look at before we maybe head out that ominous door? That also worries me.
I wonder, Bodaks are created when around death. Are we going to be seeing the death of Poffo the original, or is this how Poffo the Bodak was born, through his death?
Not nodding enthusiastically. Lilian is getting spooked vibes.
So, as you get close to this door, there's a moment where all of you feel a tingle. It's a weird sensory kind of overload that all of you feel at the exact same time for just an instant. It's like almost something kind of like readjusts. And as you open this door, you find it opens up into an enormous factory floor where there are giant machines pressing metal, deconstructing things, helping to put together, there's presses being used, all these things, but they all have this distinctly creepy vibe to them. There are sort of cobwebs hanging off of them in like aesthetically pleasing ways, or maybe there's like wrought iron gates on top of some of this machinery that would have absolutely no purpose other than like an aesthetic one, and like skulls across the ceiling and things like that. There is like a definitively weird gothic industrial vibe to this place that is strange to you, but I want to add to Hialeah. As you look into this room, your grave sense absolutely lights up as several undead figures pop out to you, walking around on this floor.
Oh, my kind of interior decorator.
All right. What do you think would be the appropriate role to know if these ones would be hostile? I don't want to assume insight.
So, yes, there are figures walking this room. There are two different types of figures I want to call your attention to. There are some people who are working the line that are in sort of coveralls that are buttoned all the way up, that are very efficient. But the notable thing about these individuals is they have no face or really a head to them at all. They quite literally have like a neck stump and then it stops. But they are all working in this sort of synchronization that is very fast and very on pace and everything like that. And the other individuals, the ones that flag to you as undead, is you see several Bodak that are kind of prowling the floor of this factory, and they to you read as almost security to watch everything that's happening here.
Okay, so I will tell the party that and kind of crouch down and say, do we want to do a Deus Ex here and like sneak from guard to guard, taking them out? Or do we want to just, I'll be honest, that's what I want to do, so I didn't really come up with a second plan.
Now, I understand your desire to do this. You're like 9 feet tall, though.
Yeah, and I have a sword from a monk who kept annoying me on a boat ride, and when I say the magic word, it turns me invisible.
Okay, that's pretty sweet.
Oh yeah, that is pretty cool.
Wait, did you kill that guy?
No, he was really annoying me, so I cheated at cards. I won it.
All right, fair enough.
Most of my swords I did get from bonking someone terminally, but they started it.
With the what did you say you wanted to do? Like What was like the reference you used? Like
Thief, one of those kind of games.
Oh, so we're gonna jump smack them on the back of the head with a blackjack.
I want to get near them until the button prompt pops up and then choke them out. Realistically, I wonder if I can take one out in a single round, or if we need to team up on them. This is something with with my insight. Do these guys seem like something where taking one down would be a group effort, or could I kind of work my way around the room, snap at necks? Splinter Cell, obviously the other, much better reference.
I will say that you generally kind of feel like it might be tough to just burst one of these guys down. You think that's potentially you could do it. But it might not be an easy task to do, and there are several of them prowling these floors. So if you do decide to do it, you're definitely going to want to make sure everybody is on board with that plan, because it could go sideways if it doesn't. These are creatures obsessed with death.
So when you say that they are they're like security, is it the question of, is it the vibe that if they see us and notice us, they're going to attack us, or as long as we don't interfere with, I guess, this production line, do they not care?
That is an answer you do not know yet. They have not directly looked at you or addressed you in any way, but you guys opened the door and it's not like an alarm went off or anything like that. You didn't try to open it quietly, but you don't really know what will trigger these guards, if something can trigger them or not.
Oh, here's a question. Is any of the machinery in this room look extremely fatal? Does it have any of those signs that are like, not only will this kill you, but it'll hurt the whole time you're dying? Because
oh man, I am so glad you asked that question, Austin, because 100% absolutely yes. Every machine in this place looks horrifically dangerous.
oh my god, is this finally my moment to shine? So my ability is called Hidden Step. I turn invisible, and what I want to do is sneak up on these Bodak and start pushing them into the Crusher. Get them kind of involved in the Mangler from Stephen King's The Mangler, one at a time until the room is clear. So I don't know if you want me to roll anything particular, but that is what I would like to do.
Okay, so explain your power to me again.
Yeah, so this is something I just get for being a reflavored Fairbolg. I'm a treant, but that's the stats I'm using. So I can just do this as a bonus action. The activation phrase for my magic sword is "nothing personal, kid." So she'll whisper that to her sword. It glows and she'll turn invisible. And then, she'll tell the other party members about this plan first, so they can get into some kind of position to assist if things go sideways. But then she wants to target whichever Bodak is closest to the most dangerous machine and see if she can just suddenly push it in. So it's a pretty simple plan.
I got a real quick question before you do that, Hialeah, is the Poffo guy is Bodak, right? Are we trying to check if he's one of these guys before we do the metal crushing and the pushing and the stuff?
That's a good question. I rolled a 19. Do any of these people, have a Poffo look about them?
Do any of these people look like the horrible burlap meat we got, but living?
I think they all probably kind of look like that.
I was gonna say, so you guys have never seen Poffo when they were alive, at least not as a Bodak. You don't exactly know what they would look like, but all these Bodak look very similar to you. And the only thing I will really say here and reiterate is that something about everything going on here is very strange to you, particularly to Hialeah. Something is off to you.
Can I ask this? Are the Bodak reacting to the environment around them like they're supposed to be there? You said they're acting like security, or I guess does it seem like there is two different places kind of overlaying each other here potentially?
Dan, what a wonderful question you just asked. Let me.
Oh.
Let me get a religion check from everybody.
11.
Are you going to choose to fail this one,
I
Sarah?
think I'm gonna choose to fail this one.
Just use. Hell yeah.
Okay, so 1711, and then Lilian is choosing to fail, which is an interesting choice. But yeah, 1711 are enough that I think, Stranger, you rolled really well here. You're the one to first kind of posit this idea of like, hey, does this make me feel like not all like one thing right now? Like, does it kind of feel like these Bodak feel a little out of place? Like, I know this place looks really gothic and like industrial and shit like that. Like, it, thematically feels like it's fitting, but they don't feel like they fit exactly. And you do feel like that is the situation here. There is something going on in this vibe check right now.
So my first question would be, is the number of Bodaks in this room equal to the number of like workers? Who you say?
No,
They're
there
not.
are there. So I don't want to tie you down with like dimensions of this room. I will say there are 3 Bodak currently in this room right now. There are a bunch of machines and numerous amounts of workers working on those machines.
Because my one other question here is that the banyan tree has indicated to Hialeah that something feels like something's off, something's not happening normally. I don't know if the banyan tree would necessarily be like, oh, something's weird here just because it's like a Bodak body part. Like, banyan tree is incredibly powerful. I feel like it would understand potentially exactly what's occurring. I'm wondering if a certain desperate businesswoman came in and just shoved something else onto the viewing platform while we were in the middle of this.
Sure. Hialeah is excited about this, both the possibilities that this opens up and like the test that her deity or her papa is giving her.
Our biggest papa.
I think we should try to proceed by, because we're trying to without fighting, because we're trying to ascertain if we don't know if any of these are Poffo, and B, we don't necessarily know if Poffo is just going to be immediately hostile in general, and if we just start sneak attacking them, then if they're going to attack us in turn, and that doesn't tell us what we need.
I want to throw out there. So there's 2 plans currently right now. Hialeah wants to crush these guys in these big dangerous machines and go splinter cell, and Stranger thinks that is a bad idea. Lilian, what direction do you think, or I should say Sarah rather, what direction do you feel Lilian is being pulled towards?
I definitely feel like Lilian doesn't feel like we need to resort to the Crusher quite yet. Especially because
the Ramones would be so disappointed in us.
Especially because Faye is like even if Faye is getting bad vibes from like all the spooky like corpsey stuff, like Faye is still like here to try to do the job that Mox gave Fair, which is to bring people back to life if they like pass the vibe check. And if we kill all the Bodaks in here and one of them happens to be Poffo and like it like causes a chain reaction, like it might be a little too early to like be like, well that's that. Like Lilian wants to give like trying to avoid like a violent confrontation unless like it actually seems to be like necessary.
Yep. Hialeah will accept the flaws of democracy, but she will say that I do want to remind you these aren't people, and killing them isn't like a reflection of your morality or whatever. The tree is just trying to show us things.
It still feels bad. I know they're not real, but I'm looking at them moving around and it feels like they're real. So like I can't if I start just going like, oh, they're simulation, I can do whatever I want. That feels wrong to me.
I would just like to say that I do believe that they aren't real, and I just think we need the data point currently. Afterward, if we get a data point, feel free to squish them.
Oh my goodness.
Hialeah, Lilian, we're just grown different than you, I think.
Yeah, my people don't really have much faith in the sanctity of life, I guess.
Hialeah holds out a fist to bump you.
Yeah. Doesn't
Murder
respect
friends.
individual life bond.
Just you two are just like on like at least a similar wavelength, and Lilian is like like that seems a little unnecessarily cruel, but like I at least get Stranger's point of view. Like I get that undead live and exist and stuff.
Yeah, my people have like a 3-month lifespan for the most part when they're young. Very low survival rate.
Oh my goodness.
Hialeah sits down and starts writing that down. That's wild. You two go on ahead. I can't sneak for shit. My cheeks are gonna clap throughout this entire factory.
I thought you could turn invisible.
Big Papa's cheeks.
Yeah, Stranger will just say, I mean, yeah, we grow out of the ground like pumpkins. Fucking crows get us all the time.
Don't you have a pet crow?
Yeah, we have an accord. She constantly wants to eat me.
Oh no.
That's adding a lot of dynamism. Yeah, I just don't want to waste my invisible until it's time to throw people into machines. Is what I'm saying.
I've got a 2. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm a druid. I can become very small. Let me see what forms I can actually take real quick. Wild shape.
Radial menu from Baldur's Gate 3 shows up. On everything, it's like turn into pumpkin bear, pumpkin wolf, pumpkin hawk, pumpkin snake.
I think my best choice might actually be an owl. Hold on. Oh, I can't do it yet. I can't be a bat either. It's probably going to be rat. Rat's probably going to be the best choice here, I guess.
Oh, I want to see your pumpkin rat miniature after this.
I will say I was just curious what Google would say if I said, "What is the quietest animal?" Does anyone want to guess?
Well, what are we defining as an animal? I have to ask the asshole
Dan,
question.
Dan, you fucking know I don't have access to what Google thinks.
I'm gonna say a butterfly.
Okay.
I would probably think like an ant or something.
Yeah, it's probably not ants. Famously loud. I'm gonna go with the spider.
Okay. Ant, spider, and butterfly, all insects. Interesting. Google says a jellyfish. They don't have a brain, so they couldn't communicate even if they tried.
That doesn't feel like that feels like a chat GPT answer.
Now, yeah, I do feel like that does make sense though, because it's like I guess there's what makes a noise on a jellyfish. There's their like squishy sound on the body, like.
Okay, so stranger, do you want to turn into a pumpkin jellyfish and we can kind of slide you across?
I'm gonna turn into a pumpkin spider. Something I have a number of miniatures for actually.
I was gonna say that one. I feel like you have.
That's a home run.
Okay. You're a pumpkin spider now. What is the party trying to do?
I guess just sneak by currently.
Sure.
So I have this like feature I haven't used yet. It's like this whole fucking thing with like the College of Spirits / College of like Drama, as I renamed it. It's called Tales from Beyond, and since I have a 1d8 bardic inspiration dice, I could use that to have a 1 in 8 chance of getting like the little bonus from that lets you turn invisible. And I've been like contemplating, because like even if that doesn't work, the way that the Tales from Beyond table works is you use 1 bardic inspiration and roll on the table to determine the tale that you get told, and then you can retain one of them. Let's see, you can use an action to choose a creature, like in 30 feet of you. This can be you, to use the tale's effect, and you can retain the tale 1 at a time until you either use it or, let's see, or you roll on the spirit table again, and you can only use it like once per long rest.
Okay. So it looks like, yeah, you were able to talk to the spirits around you, and you roll a d12, and whatever the result is, you get a little bonus, and one of them specifically, 8 on the list, allows you to become invisible until the end of your next turn.
Yeah. So
Now, counterpoint, you could choose to fail.
It doesn't work on something like that.
on
No,
There is
I mean
no-
just fail the stealth check entirely.
Oh my gosh. You do need one more before you get that guaranteed crit, so.
On one hand, I do need one more failure. On the other hand, even if I don't get the tail that I want, from what I understand of the rules, I can like keep that until it becomes like relevant. So I think I'm going to do that. See,
Sure.
You said 1d12 because that's the table.
It looks like there are 12 options, so yep.
See, d12.
Wow. Fucking in one.
It is 8.
What the fuck?
Yeah, tail of the phantom, target becomes invisible. Wow. You just called your shot in a 1 in 12 chance.
Let's fucking
Which will make it funnier when you choose to fail now.
I don't think the audience appreciates that there was a 0.83% chance of that or there was an 8.3% chance of that happening.
So that uses one of my bardic inspiration until I...
Well, fucking, it's so wild to me. You're so casually going about this now. I'd be losing my mind. you just fucking called your shot in a 1 in 12 chance and fucking nailed it. This is like cool guys walk away from explosions. You're like, nah, who cares? I do this every day.
Me, laughing right now is me kind of the losing my mind, because that's just really funny to me that it actually worked.
Holy shit.
All right, time for us to fucking botch these rolls anyway.
So this is the first time you've used this, Sarah. I don't know if we've said this specifically, but this is a college from the Ravenloft book.
I believe so, yes. A Skitch helped me with a lot of the figuring out how specifically it works.
Yeah, but the idea is that you're a bard and an actor, and you tell different stories and you wear different masks. This is kind of your whole thing. It's been 6 hours of roleplay, but this is the first time you're doing your acting thing, because it's the idea, as I understand it, is you wear different masks for different abilities and act in the world. So you're putting on a ghost mask and turning invisible in front of us. This is kind of the biggest thing your character does.
Yeah. It's I've been meaning to use it. I just there's so many things to keep track of that I just didn't really get a chance to during the first arc. I also before we continue, I did rename all of these to fit the floral dryad theme. So the tail of the phantom is the tail of the spider lily.
Awesome. Can I ask then? I mean, this is I think a big moment for your character. Can you give it some flourish? What does this mask look like? What happens when Lilian channels this ability? Paint the picture.
So when Lilian channels this ability, the way that it goes about is that Faye focuses, and there's a little glimmer of light and a little seed forms in Fair hands, and then when it's used, either for me or someone else, it blossoms into a cool mask that matches the flower that I've assigned to it. So this is a sick ghost type spider lily looking mask that Faye can then put on and become invisible.
Oh, and you're not just invisible, but if you attack while invisible, they take extra necrotic damage and become frightened. So you're properly spooky.
Yeah, because if I remember right, spider lilies represent death in Japan. Don't get mad at me if I'm wrong at that. I remember looking up flower meanings 3 months ago.
That's a classic defense. Don't get mad at me.
I say it a lot. All right, yeah, you both can. One of you is turned invisible. One of you is turned into. Are you a tiny spider, or are you
I'm looking something up actually right now. I can turn into a bunch of different kinds of spiders. I think the small spider is the worst at being stealthy.
Okay, so I'm gonna help. I'm gonna help you out a little bit here, because of Lilian's incredible move there, and the fact you're turning into a spider. I'm not gonna test you with a stealth check. You're one of you's invisible, one of you is a spider. So I don't want to force a roll that seems ultimately very unnecessary. The more important question to me is Hialeah is choosing to sit out of this because she doesn't want to risk. She doesn't have this ability to be incognito like you guys do, or she does, but she doesn't want to use it right now. But what are you choosing to do with this opportunity to kind of peruse the floor here? What are you trying to achieve?
Yeah, I guess I guess we could try to look to see, like hone in on some of the Bodak stuff, like where they're lurking around here. Are they potentially lurking around here because someone's about to get squished in the gears? Can we find maybe? I guess we don't even know if Poffo is this person's like original name. I think what Stranger wants to look for is any indication of this furball woman we saw in the previous room's picture.
So what you're trying to do is look in the general area of this room. You're not specifically like, oh, I want to watch the behavior and mannerisms of these things. You're like, we're past these guys. I want to look for what else we can find in this room, basically, and find more clues.
Yeah.
All right. With that, I'm going to ask for an investigation check from just Stranger and Lilian.
Okie dokie. Lilian, you're going to choose to fail this one?
I feel like not this one, just because I am riding a bit of the high of like getting the sick ghost spider lily mask off.
14, and I think you crit failed that
I
one.
botched
Yeah.
anyways. So fuck me, I guess.
Holy shit.
Oh my god!
So why have I been botching so much even without the fucking mask? I might as well just pick to fail next time. I don't care what the roll is.
Oh my gosh. Holy shit. That is wild. All right. Okay. So let's start, I guess, with the first thing, which I will say with a 14, Dan, is a good check. You are able to locate a couple sort of prominent things within this room. I want you to like take stock of these because these are like your options to explore from here on in. So you see that there is a sign for a break room.
Okay.
You see that there is a sign to the back rooms. There is a small staircase that leads up to a manager's office that overlooks this whole factory. Mm-hmm. There is the work floor here where all these faceless individuals are working machines. And there is also a door to human resources.
Human resources. Okay. Interesting. I'm going to have some questions for Hialeah and Lilian after this probably inevitable fight.
Lilian, so you are walking about and you're very excited. You're riding this high. You're activating your invisibility. You're in your moment. You are performing. And I think there's just a moment where you kind of bump into one of these workers. And to you, it just seems like you casually brush by. This isn't like you shoulder check this guy or anything like that. You brush into them, and suddenly they go straight onto the machine and are crushed alive by the machinery. There is gore shooting into the sky, blood shooting into the sky. There's no mouth, so there is no noise per se, but there is like that's like a sound. Like you can see like the legs wiggle as this crushing goes down. And on the moment that this individual gets absolutely eviscerated by this machine, all of the Bodak hone in on this moment, like zero in on it with an intensity. There has been death, and they are fascinated by it.
Like, I mean, if that happens, Lilian has to try not to scream.
Yeah. What do you think is a good role to not scream?
It's fucked up.
Wisdom.
The first thing we saw in this whole season was Lilian being like, I don't even want the animals to hurt each other. You're like, you're so caring. And you just turned someone into gore, and Hialeah is just jealous. just envious I didn't get to do that while you're trying not to fucking scream.
Stranger can't talk right now because he's a spider, but he's thinking, I think that person was just mostly blood. Just like a balloon.
Yeah, I want to know, this is like old Mortal Kombat style levels of gore where like 6 rib cages come out and just like more blood than you think like an entire family of people should have.
All right, Banditry, you're editorializing here a bit.
Like, I think what makes sense for like trying not to scream is maybe like a wisdom saving throw, but I also think after deciding that it's the more in character and interesting choice to decide to fail on that. Like, it's not like a loud, prolonged scream, but it is like a shriek, and then has to like clasp their hands over their face.
All right, this is a very interesting character choice. I love it. So you try not to scream. You are posed with a wisdom saving throw, and you, as a character decision, are choosing to fail this one, which is the third mark on your rabbit mask ability. But by choosing to fail, you scream, and the Bodaks are all going to be alerted to the fact that there is something going on here. And I don't know how to describe this other than if it seemed like before they were in like neutral patrol mode, they seem aggroed now. There is absolutely a fight happening, and you need to roll initiative.
You want me to go first? Because maybe Lilian's still a little bit stunned.
Yeah, maybe Dan go first.
Okay, it's going to be Stranger, Lilian, the Bodak, and then Hialeah leading the rear. So, Stranger, what do you do?
Yeah, Stranger is going to transform back into a regular person. Well, as regular as he can be.
Yeah. Parentheses,
and
scare quotes.
Then he is going to, you know what? I got a new spell. Are they all within a 20-foot cube?
Yes, I have said that all these Bodak have gathered to watch the dismal demise of this poor individual. So yes, they are all very close to one another.
Okay. And then with a flick of his one wrist, he's going to cast Erupting Earth. Choose a point you can see on the ground within 120 feet. A fountain of churned earth and stone erupts in a 20-foot cube centered on that point. Each creature in that area must make a dexterity saving throw. A creature takes 3d12 bludgeoning damage on a failed save, or on a failed save, or half as much on a successful save. Additionally, the ground in that area becomes difficult terrain. Each 5-foot square portion of the area requires at least 1 minute to clear by hand to be able to make it no longer difficult terrain.
Okay, 17 for the Bodak.
Well, fuck you.
I don't know what to tell you. They rolled well. They're very they're good on their feet. They're light on their feet.
All right. Half of 17, 18 would be 9, so 8 damage.
8 damage. All right.
Yeah. So Stranger flicks his wrist, and a light travels down from the lantern that hangs off of the stick that he uses to keep his shoulders and back upright. And travels into the ground, and then the floor just kind of explodes into a shower of tile work and concrete.
Oh my gosh, that's so powerful, and you've left a real mess for everybody else. You see, like, the machine almost like kind of shakes with this movement as so much is happening. A little more blood splatters out. There was a little bit left in the system, and then that attack managed to squeeze it out. So good job.
It seems like maybe it's rotting off the blood now. Oh, like capitalism. It's a metaphor.
And it is now Lilian's turn. What is Fair going to do?
Okay, so I'm looking over my spells, and this wouldn't work for all three of the Bodak, but there's a spell I have called Phantasmal Force. I renamed it to the Pepper's Ghost spell, in reference to the Pepper's Ghost effect. You craft an illusion that takes root in the mind of a creature you can see within range. They must make an intelligence saving throw. On failed save, that you create a phantasmal object, creature, or other visible phenomenon no larger than a 10-foot cube and perceivable only to the target for that duration. And they treat it like it's a real thing. So, like, I would, like, focus on one of the, like, Bodaks and, like, create, like, a phantasmal, like version of, like, myself, so that they would try like maybe to, like, get the group to disperse a bit, maybe to get not as many of them, like, trying to, like, look for me specifically in the spot I'm at.
Sure. Okay. So an intelligence saving throw is not their strong suit. They're so dumb. Never mind. I crit with an 18.
Classic GM setup there. Pepper's Ghost is an illusion technique in which an image of an object offstage is projected so that it appears to be in front of the audience. I learned something today. Thank you, Sarah.
You telling me that theater kids have ninjutsu?
The place that I know it the best from is they use that in a part of the Haunted Mansion ride at Disneyland.
Very interesting. Unfortunately, the Bodak succeed, I believe. 18 against a 15 saving throw. Is there anything that happens to them on a fail? Or on a save, rather?
It looks like if the target succeeds on the intelligence saving throw, they realize the phantom is an illusion and the spell ends.
Aww. I was very curious seeing how they would react to a little illusion, but unfortunately these Bodak, they zeroed in on this. Now, you've taken an action. Are you visible to the Bodak at this point?
Let me double check how my invisibility works. I've got so many things I need to click through.
I believe the original text says until end of turn. We sort of played with that a little bit to give you more freedom from that called shot. But does it disappear when you make a spell, or it looks like it's just when you hit with an attack? Yeah. So you are still invisible at this point.
Okay, yeah. And I think that's it for my turn because it was an action.
That's a very interesting little detail that you're invisible and Hialeah is invisible. And it's the Bodak's turn.
Okay.
So I'm going to introduce a fun mechanic to this fight.
Uh-oh.
At the start of each of your turns, I need to know how many hit points you are left at.
Oh, no. We're going to get Bodacked.
So I just want you to keep that in mind. I need to know where your hit points are at after basically the Bodaks take their turns. So these Bodaks were meant to split off and separate their damage. However, unfortunately, there is only one visible target to them right now, which is Stranger. So these are going to be 3 attacks against you, Stranger. It is going to be a 22, a 10, and a 22.
Yeah, 2 of those will hit.
How much health do you have now?
Did I have 30? So okay. So we did heal up to full at the start of this before we started recording because we took damage in the downtime zone, which isn't the real zone. So I'm currently at 39.
39? You take 36 damage.
Right.
Holy shit!
Okay.
Holy shit!
All right.
I'm sorry! I'm
well.
sorry we came to this point because Lilian's a little soft.
What kind of damage is that, by any chance? Is all that?
This is bludgeoning and necrotic damage.
Hold on, give me a second.
Oh god.
All right. Absorb elements does not work on necrotic. Ooh, ow, ooh, owie. Yeah, so Stranger is literally just made out of vines and some sticks and like a rib cage and a couple other miscellaneous bones. He's just getting fucking ripped to pieces by 3 Bodaks.
So, yeah, these Bodaks are coming at you. They are attacking you. They have, like, a fervor. And you notice that, like, as these attacks hit and you are being ripped apart, that they're, like, a little slow afterwards. Like, when they see that, like, afterwards you have been, like, ripped to shreds, there's almost, like, a fascination with it for a moment. But that is the end of their turn, and it is Hialeah's turn.
Yeah, Hialeah was waiting back just in case this kind of thing happened. She didn't want... Go ahead.
I just need to note, I'm looking at my damage roll, and almost like 4 of the dice are maxed out. Everything else is in the upper. I'm so sorry, Dan.
Yeah, it happens.
I feel like this is like majorly my fault. I feel like this is gonna like depending on how this turns out, I might have some thoughts in character.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I also have complicated feelings about how my character is gonna process what's happening. But for the moment, she whispers to her sword, "Nothing personal, kid," turns invisible, and then just like a fucking freight train just tries to pick up one of the Bodaks. She has an ability called Large Build, where she can carry things that are up to large. So she's like, just on another level physically from normal sized player characters. She just wants to yeet a Bodak into the pistons machine, into like the hydraulic press from the famous YouTube channel, and to see if we can turn this guy into spaghetti or something.
Okay, so what I'm going to ask is, this is a tough challenge. So I wanna see how you feel about this. Because I can't just let you do this, or else your response to every enemy is to pick them up and throw them off of things.
Which is what we would be doing if this was actually Splinter Cell or Hitman or whatever.
Yeah, I thought this was a uniquely dangerous room.
How do you feel about an opposing strength contest here to see if this Bodak can wrestle out of your grasp? Because I think you have a much higher strength check than this person.
And advantage on that, yeah.
Okay, let's see. I rolled a 16.
All right. Am I using my saving throw or just my strength?
Strength check.
All right. 18.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. Paint me this picture.
Yeah, so she's invisible, so you just hear like thump, 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 and then just one of the Bodak goes flying through the air. It's like inexplicable and kind of spooky. If anything, it recalls Lilian being thrown around the gig by that poltergeist in the downtime. But this just gets thrown under. There's just a bunch of pistons that are going up and down. Sorry, I'm thinking of the Attack of the Clones droid factory.
Yeah, absolutely. It's in that realm.
And so it's just going down a conveyor belt, gets hit by a piston, half flattened, all its bones shatter, its body's twisted. It goes up to the next piston, is flattened to the ground, and then the next one, and then it's just goo. It's just absolute fully bodily disintegration.
It looks very similar to the remains that you received at this point, where it's just like a burlap sack and some mystery biomaterial.
Yeah, but Hialeah's invisibility ends when she attacks someone, so she suddenly comes into view as the magic. It's like the invisibility like drips off of her like it's a coating, and it like sucks back into the magic sword, and she's just standing there, and she says, "I knew I should have went with my plan. Papa would have had my back."
Less talk, more squish.
All right. That's an amazing turn from Hialeah. It's going to be Stranger. Stranger, what is your health at?
2? No, sorry, 3. That's important.
That's an important little detail. So I want to clarify something in this moment before you take your turn. There's a moment where a Bodak just got picked up by Hialeah, who was invisible. She popped up, grabbed one, and tossed it in the machine, and it was completely eviscerated. Despite that happening, the two remaining Bodak are utterly transfixed on you, and I would like to get an insight check from you if I could.
Okie dokie. I'm guessing it's probably because Bodaks are undead and not like living people dying. 14.
14 is a good roll. I'm going to say that you are able to see that in this moment, it looks like they've gone almost into a trance, and they are not outwardly aggressively hostile to you in this moment. They are just fascinated by you.
Okay. Shit. I have two options here. One, I could turn into a giant snake and have 60 hit points. That is really appealing to me right now because I have 3 hit points. But you said they're not outwardly hostile to me currently.
In this moment, they are looking at you, and it does not look like they are about to rip into you again. It looks like they are in a trance staring at you.
Here's the problem. I think they're only in a trance because my health is so low. I think the moment I get health back, they're just gonna maul me again until I am dying.
That's what I'm worried about, because I want to give you like some healing on my turn, but like I don't want them to like immediately just fucking go at you again.
Oh, so my thought process here is this something we can maybe get out of like an actual fight in, or is this just going to restart in a moment? Because I think like, if anything breaks their trance, they're just going to maul whoever breaks their trance, rather than this being a potential non-combat option. Yeah, Stranger's like reeling, and he's running this math in his head, and he reaches the conclusion that he cannot take the risk that they're not gonna break this trance and kill him anyway, with like so little health to see the actual death happen. So he is going to bonus action, turn into a giant snake. His vine-like body just goes all vine and one big pumpkin head. And he is going to attempt to bite and then constrict the target in front of him.
Sure. I will just note the moment you start turning into a snake, the Bodak do seem to immediately go back into that state of wanting to be aggressive. The trance is over, and they are angry once more.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to attempt to, I guess, attack whichever one is closest to me. The constrict, 16.
Wow.
Or 24, rather.
24 is a good roll. Yeah, you absolutely hit that one. This is 16 damage. And then dexterity. What check is this?
Yeah, DC. Oh, it's just to escape grappled. I don't think he gets to.
Just automatically.
Yeah, he's
grappled
automatically grappled until this grapple ends. Target is restrained, and the snake can't constrict another target. On their turn, I guess they make like a strength contest or something.
A creature that is restrained has disadvantage on attack rolls, and attack rolls against the creature have advantage, and disadvantage on dexterity saving throws. I believe it would just be a dexterity saving throw to escape.
Yes.
Or a strength.
So grappled creature can use its action to escape. It must succeed on a strength or dexterity acrobatics check contested.
Yeah. Okay. Very interesting. Lilian, it is your turn. Can you let me know how much health you're at?
I am at 39 health right now.
Okay.
Stranger is like nodding his snake head towards the one he's grappled. Like, come on.
So with advantage, does 13 hit?
13 is a miss.
Damn. Okay, so Lilian tries to like pull out Fair Rapier and like try to get a hit in on the Bodak because like kind of like going on like an adrenaline like fear response, like, oh Jesus Christ, they fucked up, they want to help. And like when Faye misses, I think I will use my bonus action to give Bardic Inspiration to Stranger, and that is a 1d8. You could use it for an ability check, attack roll, or saving throw.
Okie dokie.
Very good. All right, it is the Bodak's turn. There are two of them left. And Lilian, you did not hit, so you, I believe, are still invisible by the rules of this. So, you are currently not available to them. So I'm going to have these Bodaks split their attacks. The one that is being grappled by Stranger in this new snake form is going to attempt to attack Stranger with disadvantage. It's going to be an 8. So that is a miss, I believe.
Yep. Snakes have 12 AC. That's a fact.
All right. So before these Bodaks end their turn, you see sort of a necrotic energy channel in them and kind of explode outwards. And there is a visible, palpable field of necrotic energy around them. They have activated an aura of annihilation, and this aura will deal 5 necrotic damage to anyone who ends their turn 10 feet. It'll deal 5 necrotic damage to anyone who ends their turn 10 feet within the range of the Bodak. However, if you are undead, you ignore this effect.
Now I have a question. You called me undead earlier.
Is that what it says on your character sheet?
Fuck you.
I will say that the part of you that's a rotting corpse doesn't take 5 damage. How about that?
Okay.
At the end of the Bodak's turn, I have an ability from my Stone Rune. I can, as a reaction, force one of them to make a Wisdom save or be charmed for 1 minute. So the one that is not currently being constricted by Stranger, I would like to make a Wisdom save.
Sure. It is a 7.
Big fail.
I have some sad news for you, though, Mr. Yorsky.
Immune to charm?
Bodaks are immune to being charmed.
All right, well, I had to try. I say the power of Big Papa compels you. and just looks at me like I'm friggin' stupid. So I'm going to attempt to drive my weapon through the face of the Bodak that stranger is constricting. So I have advantage and I attack twice. So that's going to be 18 and 25.
Wow, both great rolls, both are hits.
Boop, 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 boop. 19 damage.
19 damage total.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. That one is severely damaged. It seems actually very close to death. Not completely dead, but very, very close. Do you want to describe that at all?
Yeah, I mean, if Stranger is a big pumpkin snake wrapped around this burlap ghoul, she just looks for like where the face is peeking out between the coils of the snake and just drives her big weapon in there. It's just a bunch of different swords all melted together. When one of the blades sinks in, it activates the fire rune. Add additional 2d6 fire damage. You have to make a strength save, or you're restrained. You're already restrained by the snake, so I guess that probably doesn't matter. But just a fiery chains shoot out of the blade into the Bodak as well. That's going to be 8 more damage.
Wow. Okay, this is very interesting. So you deal this original attack that deals a ton of damage, and this Bodak is looking to be in a real rough spot, this one restrained by Stranger. The one that is currently remaining at this point kind of has a moment where it turns off, and it turns to this other Bodak that is seemingly on death's door, and it just says, "You'll be okay. I'm with you." And in that moment, these chains come out, and the Bodak dies. You deal lethal damage with the fire attacks, and the Bodak is no more, and the remaining one, again, sort of exits this trance-like state and goes right back to seeming aggressive again.
Whoa, that was cool. I love to reassure my friend before 1,000 flaming chains shoot out of their body from the inside.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's a pretty common occurrence.
Yeah, that's why I'm not allowed in Las Vegas anymore.
All right, Stranger, it is your turn. There is one Bodak remaining. It is the one that you have not restrained.
Okay. You said if I end my turn next to it, I take the 5 damage, right?
Yes, and I should say that Hialeah would have taken 5 damage from ending their turn next to a Bodak.
That's fair. I got to do something really cool, so I'm going to take that one.
So I do technically have reach, but my hit points aren't real right now. Just like your money, folks. There's no gold behind it. So I'm going to constrict this final Bodak.
All right. Let's see if it happens.
14.
14 is a miss, unfortunately.
Yeah, he worms right through my coils.
Uh-huh. This one's slippery. Anything else from Stranger?
I can't talk or do anything else because I'm a big worm snake pumpkin right now, so that's it.
That's fair. You do what worm snake pumpkins do. Lilian!
Lilian's here again, and Lilian's just gonna.
Oh fuck! I forgot I have bardic inspiration.
Yeah, it's a shame.
I can. I'm gonna try to hit the remaining Bodak with my rapier again.
All right.
All right, another 13. That fails, I believe.
13 is still a miss, unfortunately.
Damn.
You're still invisible, though. That's the plus side of all this.
So, from our perspective, did Lilian join? Are we aware Lilian joined this fight? Do we think that she just ran away?
You've seen magical effects occur. Like there was an illusion that was created that they saw through, and there was the silvery barbs that happened. So you know that someone is there, and you hear like the sounds of like whoosh every so often.
You hear the sounds of like magic and whoosh and someone hyperventilating.
All right, take your 5 damage. It is going to be the remaining Bodak's turn. And it is going to have its attention pulled toward Hialeah because you are the one who has basically killed everything so far. You keep eliminating all of them. So it's going to try to attack you. 18.
That hits exactly.
All right. It is going to be 16 damage.
All right.
And that is going to be the Bodak's turn. It continues the aura. And Hialeah, it's your turn. What is your health at?
My health is at 29.
29. It's a good strong number.
All right. Hialeah holds up her weapon, and she says, I never really thought much about my sword because I don't think of myself as a swordsman. I'm a writer. But I guess I'm a warrior for the tree now. I'm kind of like a knight of the banyan. And so I think I have to give my sword a cool name. I think I'm going to call it Fracture. It's a type of calligraphy. In most calligraphy, you try to do all your pen strokes in a clean way so they flow into each other so you don't have to lift your pen. But in Fracture, you try to use as many strokes as possible, like the many swords that make up the whole. Action surge, bitch.
Whoa.
This feels excessive.
24, 21, 25, and 21.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, dog, all of those hit.
I've
you rolling
goaded with the
advantage?
sauce. Yeah, because I have my giant's might. So
Oh, okay.
this is a preposterous amount of damage. Sorry, I've spent this whole week trying to think of a joke about the Cardi B song "Bodak Yellow," and I guess Bodak's about to be red is what I got. 59
Jesus.
damage.
Christ!
Yeah, describe how this thing dies.
Yeah, so she swings the sword several times, like horizontally and vertically. In each one, the Bodak gets clipped by a different blade attached to Fracture. That's Fractur. It's a German word. So like there's a big buster sword that like takes an arm off. There's like a thin rapier that goes through the eye. There's some kind of curved scimitar that, cuts it off at the waist. It's just getting annihilated in like 7 different sword styles. It's not like a practiced martial artist. It's just like pure overwhelming tree strength. As she just completely makes it unrecognizable in ribbons. It was basically she did by hand what the threshing machine would have done if she had pushed it in there.
Holy shit. Austin's getting to fucking live out his little sick, twisted little death fantasies right now. He loves it.
Yeah. This is going better than I could possibly imagine. This is every writer's dream.
Yeah, the party is successful. You have eliminated the Bodaks. Play the Final Fantasy victory music.
Yeah. Hialeah looks solemn at first. On some level, she wants to yell because she was like, my plan would have worked perfectly. Lilian, you really fucked us on this one. But then after a moment of contemplation, she says, this is my fault. I knew what we should have done, and I wasn't assertive enough. I apologize.
Lilian, now that Faye is not invisible anymore, you can see Faye has the rapier in one hand and looks very haggard, very just very shaken up, and you're saying that, and as you're finishing saying that very mature way of saying this, Lilian's just oh. Fuck, I should have listened to you. I am so sorry. That was the I am so stupid. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I'm just so I am not used to the whole fighting thing. I don't want to fight people when I feel like it doesn't feel like you should be doing it, but just inarticulate rambling at a certain point.
Yeah, Hialeah puts a hand on your shoulder and says, you're not stupid. You've never killed anybody before, have you? I didn't kill someone until I was twice your age, and it wasn't great for me either. It took hundreds of years to get confident with defending myself. So you're not stupid at all.
Just I feel like I'm gonna throw up.
Yeah, get it all out. Get it all out, champ. Just clapping you on the back.
Meanwhile, Stranger, grievously injured, is actively like throwing up pumpkin pulp on the ground now that he's transformed back. I think he looks at you kind of funny when you start saying that you knew the proper way and essentially what you said, but he doesn't say anything.
Yeah, no, I'm making a little note in my mind palace of like, I'm gonna do something without consulting you all.
Oh my god.
Lilian is like dry heaving a little bit and like holding up for like free hand. It's just like, just stranger, do you need help? I am so fucking sorry.
Oh, you know. It's just my entire body. Would that be a decapitation or an amputation at that point?
I will cast like a third level
vivisection.
a third level bravo healing word spell for you.
I was gonna say, can we short rest? I would like to roll some hit dice.
Yeah, I will say that this is a good time to do this. I'm going to narrate something that's happening, but this is a good time if you want to heal or roll hit dice.
I do have one question here, I guess, and maybe I can't do this because now they're dead, but looking back on their behavior, the one Bodak, when its friend was going to die, it like broke out of maybe went into a trance. It spoke to it, right? Trying to like console it before it dies. Did the Bodaks become hostile because of like the sudden presence of someone that killed someone? Or did it seem like they were going to attack no matter what it saw, if they saw anyone, I guess? Like, I don't know if this is information I could really even have.
I will say that the way the Bodaks behaved in that fight is absolutely intentional and is part of the mystery you are here to interpret. I will also note that one of the workers was killed during the fight, or I guess before the fight, rather. There is a whistle that is heard, and in that moment, the doors from the break room open, and another faceless sort of worker comes out and immediately takes that spot where the worker died on the line, and everyone just goes back to continuing their work.
Quinn, while this is happening, is that song from the old cartoons? Dun 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 dun. That playing?
Yeah, that's what you guys have been fighting to. There was a cool like rock version of it during the fight, and then now that it's off, you're back to like the more whimsical version.
Okay, so as we're doing like a short rest, I know I have a bardic feature for like a short rest. Like, do you think like should I like I already did like the healing spell roll. Do you like should I redact that and use the Song of Rest? Like what's like the best way to do that, I guess?
Oh, Song of Rest just gets us 1d6 extra per dice.
Oh, then yeah, that should be added into what Dan has had then.
Okay, then let me just roll 2d6 then.
I can roll back the healing spell I used and just implement the Song of Rest.
All right, yeah. What is your Song of Rest? Are you doing a little performance for us? Because that also saves me a dice, I will say, a die.
Yeah, I think the Song of Rest, for like the way that Lilian's like bardic stuff manifests, this is more of like an actor thing. I think, like I guess it would just be like a little performance. Like I'm not sure what the performance would be. Maybe like
you dress up as a doctor.
Like maybe just something that like a nice calming like monologue that like Lilian would practice sometimes, like to get ready for like doing like acting and stuff, because it's, you know, it's like something soothing, like almost like a lullaby but spoken word.
Okay, like almost like a warm-up routine or something, like a cool-down routine or something like that, icebreaker sort of thing.
Yeah.
we could run lines for the play you're gonna have Dumas be in. Do you know which production you're gonna put the shapeshifter in? It seems like a really great opportunity.
I haven't figured out what performance I might select for Dumas quite yet. I was thinking maybe like some kind of a junior performance, just to like give them some like really beginner stuff to work with, because they seem very anxious, and it wouldn't be fair to throw them into something like super strenuous yet.
Well, I would think they would be most comfortable in a play about like changing one's appearance, because that's their skill set. So obviously, Twelfth Night by Shakespeare is a premier pick, but that one also has a lot of angst about a brother, which we might not want to bring up because of Roman and all that. So maybe Measure for Measure, another one about disguising oneself.
Or you could have her do child performances. Children generally don't judge that harshly about the quality.
Mm-hmm. Like I'll write this down. What was that like? Just...
Yeah, I think Hialeah just gives you a bunch of her literary knowledge, because that's her background. Austin dipping into the well there, just a bunch of annoying stuff.
The tabaxi in a hat.
I like that we've canonized Shakespeare as existing in this universe. There's no like dice funk equivalent to Shakespeare. It's just Shakespeare.
Well, he's a lizard folk who's famous for shaking spears at his enemies. It's not a.
Yeah, everybody knows this.
He didn't write plays. He killed people. These are real things he did.
Like a classic Shakespeare where he shook his spear. Great guy. I love his work.
Shakespeare the Immortal, the famous murderer.
Romeo and Juliet is mostly the same, but there is a lot of spear shaking in that one as well.
Yeah. But if we're bandaging ourselves up as you're kind of walking us through this. Also, I say bandage, we don't bleed. I guess it's maybe sap. So, but we have a slightly different, medical routine here. But I feel like I had a lot of thoughts about us getting into that fight, where it's like, I think in the future, Hialeah is going to be like, no, I'm the chosen one of the Banyan, so I'm going to do what I want to do. And I just want to communicate, because I can't face act on a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the stranger isn't saying, like, he's just kind of nodding when you say these things. Like, he's taking what you're saying, but he's not giving any response back to it currently.
While we're doing medical care, Hialeah says to Lilian, I didn't ask at first because I didn't think we knew each other well enough, but now that we've done some dangerous jobs, we've saved each other's lives, I feel like we're close enough where I can make this inquiry. My understanding was that dryads were bound to a tree as kind of a core part of their identity, yet you seem to be walking around totally unbound. What's the story with that?
Oh, well, before I embarked away from my hometown of Yggdrasil, my family actually gave me the mask I usually wear. It's carved from the tree that we all picked, set up, for our community theater that we run. So it's even when I'm not specifically wearing it, I do keep it on my person. So it is like a wooden mask. It lets me walk around.
Baller. I had no idea. That was literally a shot in the dark. We have not discussed that previously.
I have
cool.
thought about this because I remembered that dryad thing from way back in season 2, and I was like, I should probably think about that. Even if it never comes up. It is the mask. It is both my arcane focus and my dryad tree thing.
All right, so I want to call everyone's attention to something. There was a whistle that just blew, and if anyone looks up, they will see that there is a clock next to the whistle that is starting to tick down, and it is appropriately purple and black, very gothic, with the very wrought iron kind of pointy aesthetic to the hands. But there is a sliver at the very end, if you were to imagine a clock up by the 11 to 12 spot, where it is red and just says closing time.
Closing time. The time we're going to close. I'm gonna have to pay Quinn royalties for that.
Yeah, I made the song. I'm actually Chad Swazzle from S11.
Hialeah says the Banyan might be telling us we have to hurry up. There were 3 areas to search, and there are 3 of us. Do you want to split the party?
There's more than 3, I believe. There's a break room, back room, managers, work floor, and human resources.
Oh, fuck. Balls. 5 is much more than 3.
Yep, there are 5 areas. You could choose to break off and see them individually, or you could choose to... You don't know if there are more Bodaks in this area, so I do want to specify that. But it does seem as though there is limited time for you to work with.
Stranger will point out that all of these people here on the line are faceless, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They're wearing just coveralls, basically. Could you give me a perception check, though?
Yes. Stranger will say this first. If the banyan tree is working off the vibes and it's leaving out things it doesn't find important, and potentially what the person themselves found important, if they see these workers as faceless cogs in a machine, that indicates that. And he points up towards the manager's office. And I roll a 23.
23 is an amazing score. You will note that there is a name on the back of all of these coveralls. It says, give me 1 second here. It says Slater Mechanics across the back.
What's
History
that?
roll.
Slater Mechanics?
Slater, Slater. Absolutely. Roll your history checks.
Do you want to use that free crit?
Nope, I botched.
Oh, no!
Maybe use that free crit to spin it out the other way?
Yeah, I'll use my crit
No.
for that. Mm?
No, let me fuck up. Let me fuck this
All
up.
right.
I feel like we're safe.
I have
mean,
a
you
pretty
can do what
good
you want to
history
do.
check, so I'll see what happens.
I got an 8. I don't know either way.
I have a 15, which is decent.
All right. A 1, an 8, and a 15. The party fails. You do not know who Slater Mechanics is. In addition, Hialeah botched. What is an interesting consequence for you absolutely not knowing who this person is?
Maybe you, like, completely misunderstand what's even being made here.
Or no, this is Mr. Slater Mechanics.
Yeah, you think that the guy who got thrown in there must have been someone else, and this is just the one Slater in this place.
So there are 5 possible places to go. Stranger makes a good point that the manager's office is a good one. Hialeah is just going to go that direction. She says, you 2 check in 2 other places. And just leaves. This is botch behavior.
Okay, I will allow her. I'll let her go because it seems like she's on a tear and needs to maybe be punished for her actions and hubris by her god. And say, why don't we check out human resources?
Checking out human resources might be a good idea because it seems like there's maybe like a this entire place is a human resources violation. So I'm curious what human resources in this kind of place looks like for Mr. Poffo.
Activating Eyes of the Grave again. A red banyan fruit sprouting on my branch.
Okay. All right. I want to continue on for a moment with... okay, we're going to continue with Hialeah for a moment here, and then we will touch back with Lilian and Stranger. But Hialeah, you see a small staircase that leads up to a door, and there's like a big glass window that overlooks the rest of this floor. You believe that this person could just look out from this location and oversee everything that's going on in this factory. And there's a door that is not locked. It is closed, though. And it just says on the door, President Slater.
Oh, it must be that must be someone related to Slater Mechanic. Maybe they share first names in this culture. President Slater. With her eyes of the grave active to see if there are any, glowing bad guys, she's going to slowly open the door.
Yeah, absolutely. You can open your door, or open the door rather, and you are brought into a rather luxurious looking office, one that seems far nicer and is notably completely devoid of the sort of gothic aesthetic that rang out everywhere else in the rest of the floor and even kind of a little bit in the mortuary. This place looks serene. It looks clean. There is a specific kind of organization to it. And I want to give you a couple different things that are in this room just to note. There is sort of a bulletin board facing on sort of the opposite side of the room where there are a series of blueprints kind of pinned up against the wall. There is a large window that looks out into a city the size of which you have not maybe seen before, or maybe not in a long time since you're a particularly long-lasting race. But this is much grander than anything you've seen in the New World to any degree, certainly. And has a weird, Art Deco aesthetic to it, but also kind of moves in a way that is strange to you. It almost feels as though there is a tangible life into the cityscape you're looking at. And then there is a desk where sitting at it, writing with a very extravagant quill, is an elf who I will put into the roll 20 here. It is a sun elf who looks very fancy, who is dressed in a very fine business suit, and upon you entering is just going to look up and say, "Who are you?"
Are we cutting over to Stranger and Lilian, or am I answering?
I will leave you to think about what you want to do right now. We're going to cut over to Hialeah and
Nope, I'm Hialeah.
Yeah, we're going to cut over to Hialeah too.
There's a clone of you out there.
I'm going to kick her ass.
They clone Tyrone. No, we're going to cut over to Stranger and Lilian, where you can enter into a human resource office in the way that I just described, a room full of such extravagance and a gilded, glorious age to it. This is an extraordinarily shabby, unattended to room where there are cobwebs, but not because of like a creepy aesthetic or anything. This room just does not seem to get used very much at all. There are sort of stacks and stacks of what would you call them, drawers? No, they're specific, like filing cabinets, sorry. And there is not like a desk or people in this room. There is simply just stored material, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. That's Kael'thas. I feel like we buried the lead there. The picture of the elf is Kael'thas.
I thought Dan would appreciate that.
My growing fear is that Sylvanas may or may not show up in this season, at which point I will lose my goddamn mind.
Yeah, this is Kael'thas, one of the blood elves from World of Warcraft.
Oh, I thought the art style looked familiar.
I believe this is his Hearthstone card.
Familiar, parentheses, bad.
I think that when we step into this like fucking god awful human resources office, like I think Lilian will like suggest like maybe if it seems like where time is of the essence, maybe like we can try to sort through these filing cabinets, try to see if there's anything worth looking at, and if we're struggling to maybe like try to regroup with Hialeah.
I think maybe we should be looking for incidents, a record of something that was covered up, or even deaths or injuries. Doesn't seem like maybe we're looking for a specific person. A preponderance of death and pain is the more likely option, or find.
Mm-hmm. I think I understand where you're going with that, because it definitely seems like this place, the faceless, headless people maybe makes it seem like the accidents have less to do with the person. Oh my god. Yeah, we can look for like particularly gruesome accidents or cover-ups.
All right, there is an enormous amount of stuff to search through. Can I get investigation checks from the both of you?
My thinking is, since we've got like piles of like filing cabinets to go through, and it seems like we're kind of like on like borrowed time, like this seems like at least a good place to use the crit because it's like a non-combat situation, and Lilian is kind of better at that than like the horrible like failing to swipe a sword at someone.
All right, so to be clear, you are choosing to use your crit now to help with this investigation to find information pertinent to what you're interested in, just to be clear.
Yes.
All right. So we have a 12 from Stranger, and Lilian is using her special crit to crit on this. So you are absolutely going to find what you are looking for. You guys came into this with an interest in finding out about workplace accidents, and you see dozens of them, hundreds of them, honestly. There are constant accidents, and all of them are met with a very clinical, uninterested response. There is not any response to the first one or the second of like, we need to change protocols. Everything is of the mind of, it's fine. This is like, carry on. There's sort of like a sign off that says President Slater at the end of each one of these, where there's like a spot for like recommendations. And like, sometimes it just says they should work harder. There is an innumerable amount of these. It is astonishing how many accidents you keep finding. But you also find personnel records. And I want to give you two things about this with your crit. The first thing I want to give you is that there is no record of anyone by the name of Poffo ever working for this individual of any name. But you do find the personnel record for a Miss AJ Killings.
Oh, okay. The Miss AJ Killings, like, would that... I assume that is the same Miss Killings we spoke to way earlier.
That it would be sadistic and evil of me as a DM to be like, actually, it's a different Miss Killings. You didn't ask for the first name.
Miss
yes,
AJ
Killings. You believe that this is the Miss Killings you met before.
I assume it says like what her position here must have been, correct?
Yes, absolutely. It lists a lot about her. It lists her as the personal assistant for President Slater. It has several descriptions about her. It notes that she is deeply loyal to President Slater. It also notes that she receives her warlock powers from President Slater. She is reliant on him, and that reliance breeds her loyalty. It gives several descriptions that say that she is, skilled at the job she does. She has good results everywhere. But when the section comes for President Slater's response, it just says, quote, a good hand, not much more than that.
So, we know that probably Slater is dead, and that's who she's trying to bring back, because she's inexorably tied to him. Where does Poffo fit into this? Through the records, is there, shot in the dark, anyone whose first name starts with P-O and their last name starts with F-O? I just have to ask.
You got a crit. I'm not hiding anything
Okay.
from you. You found everything that you could find in this situation. Mm-hmm. There's an individual that runs this company that does not give a shit about his workers, and Miss Killings works for him, and she has warlock powers specifically connected to him. That is where her patron powers come from.
Does it say what her powers are specifically?
Not explicitly. I don't know. This might have been a detail that I may have forgotten to mention. Mm-hmm. She conjured a pen out of fire, I believe, when you spoke to her before. So you believe that it's sort of the warlock powers that tend to be associated of like spells and all sorts of nonsense like that.
So we have some details. Some details are coming together here. I take it maybe the bodies in the morgue are representative of these folks, and he gestures to the piles of injury and workplace death notices. How does Killings and Poffo fit in together here?
Buck said that Poffo was killed by quote unquote weird religious people, and I guess a warlock and their patron could be some kind of weird religious people if you squint.
He specified with radiant magic. Poffo was killed because he was an undead Bodak. He was probably hunted as a result of that. Maybe not necessarily, probably not in any real connection to what we're seeing here, I would imagine. It's some.
Okay.
I'm familiar with the type quite intimately. The question is, where does Poffo fit in here? Was he just drawn to this place because of what was happening here, or was he created from it?
That is a very interesting question. I'm struggling to connect the dots. You might have noticed I'm not very good at thinking.
Oh, everything is a puzzle. You just have to figure out where the edge pieces are. The Furbolg intrigues me. Where does she fit into this? Is there anything in the records here that references?
Not specifically. I will note that there are several other locations you haven't gone to, so there's more pieces to this puzzle that may help it fit a little bit better. But there's nothing about a Furbolg woman in the report.
I suppose we should probably, we found what we're looking for in here, maybe like try to either meet back up with Hialeah or maybe like looking somewhere else to get more information.
Yes, and perhaps potentially tape her branches back on if she ran into more Bodaks.
Oh, yes.
We are going to cut over. Hialeah, you walked into President Slater's office. He turns his attention to you and asks, "Who are you?"
So Hialeah knows a bunch of different languages. For example, she knows giant because as a large person, she sees eye to eye with other large people. Another language she has is Elvish. Elves and trees have a special relationship going back, to Tolkien and beyond. So seeing an elf, she just immediately code switches like effortlessly and just says, "My lord, I am a servant of a great and powerful force beyond the veil of life and death, and I come to entreat you and speak to your eminence on a personal matter related to some people whose information I must gather for my liege back home."
President Slater is going to kind of give you a look and pause for a moment as he considers and then says, "I'm not quite sure who you are, but you are fired. I want to make that clear. You will need to return any material when you leave."
Of course, your eminence. But before I go, just to satisfy the powers above, I would like any information you may have on Poffo, Buck, and actually, she doesn't know about the killings file, so I'm actually not going to use out of character knowledge there and just say, "Do you know anything about Buck and Poffo?" And she's kind of invoking the banyan without spelling out that a tree sent her, just to see if she can get that.
President Slater is going to look at you and kind of tilt an eyebrow up and say, "What is this nonsense? Why have you come into my office and shout random nonsense words at me? Am I supposed to be impressed by this? Is this some kind of game? Do you understand whose time you are wasting?"
Your most elegant honor, you have to understand that this comes from the board. This is
The wooden board.
Yeah. This is from higher up.
There is no higher up.
I'm going to roll, I think, intimidation, my best charisma skill, to say this is a higher power than you perhaps realize. This is not your fault, of course. It's just I am the messenger bringing you this information you so richly deserve.
Okay, interesting. Let's see it.
All right, here we go. Nope, that's a 5.
Immediately humbled.
That is not only a fail. I am going to take a little
Bit of that earlier botch into account here as well for something that I believe you might find interesting, Austin. Mm-hmm. This individual looks at you and says, "There is no board. I am Slater, President Slater. All that this company is, all that this city is because of me. And then he sort of pauses for a moment and looks around. And he's like, anybody who belongs here would know this. What is this game?
Yeah, I mean, I tried intimidation. That didn't work, so I guess now honesty, which is just, it is no game. I'm a being from a different dimension. I cannot actually influence anything that's happening to you or within your city that you built, as wondrous as it is. I am just merely a phantom passing through, and when I'm gone, it'll be as if I was never here.
And now I am aware of that. Interesting.
Oh, I don't like the way you said that.
He leans back in his chair.
All right. Insight, stone rune. Can this guy see through the veil of space and time?
Yeah, absolutely.
If he is a patron, he's probably roughly equivalent to the banyan tree.
All right. Well, luckily I have advantage for my rune because I would have botched, but that's a 7. Still a fail, but not as cataclysmic. Fuck me.
I will say that through this, you look at this person and you feel as though they have realized exactly that they are part of some kind of simulacrum, and they are intending in this moment now to take absolute advantage of it.